The disabled tyrant's beloved pet fish. Transmigration. Chapter 22, Fish Wanted. Jingwang didn't actually take interest in anyone from the dance troupe. Even Xuěshān, whom the third prince felt most confident in. Jingwang merely watched him dance but didn't spare this person a second glance. The overabundant praises that Mu Tianming had prepared ahead of time got stuck inside his throat. However, Xuěshān didn't seem to panic. He lowered his eyes and seemed to be thinking of something unfathomable. The sixth prince gave Mu Tianming a light nudge, third elder brother. Mu Tianming thought internally that since he had already embarrassed himself plenty enough today, why not throw caution to the wind? Grinding his teeth, he squeezed out a smile and said, "Fifth brother thinks it's not bad, but I feel that it was magnificent. This man and woman from the dance troupe are people that I selected out of 1,000 others. Why don't I give them to you to pass time and relieve boredom?" Speaking so frankly, no one can misunderstand the third prince's meaning. Mu Tianming refused to believe that if he voluntarily suggested gifting these two people, Jingwang would still remain indifferent. Jingwang switched hands, idly resting his chin on his left hand. With his right hand, he pushed the little carp, who was just about to raise its head and look around, back into the water. Jingwang gave a meaningful sweeping glance at Wang Shi. As if he were on the same wavelength as Jingwang, Wang Shi said, "His Highness said he doesn't want them." He said doesn't want, not no need or not necessary. What did doesn't want mean? It meant that he didn't think they were good enough. Mu Tianming. Your Highness Jingwang, is there something about me that your Highness is unsatisfied with? Xuěshān stood with his slim back straight and upright, fingernails digging into his palms, an indignant flame faintly burning in his eyes. He was already devoted to someone in his heart. However, to be ignored like this by Jingwang was a huge humiliation to him. Xuěshān had a high self-esteem, and so he wanted to know the reason why he was rejected. Liu was flabbergasted. Was this still the pampered concubine in the novel who always treated Jingwang indifferently and gave him the cold shoulder? Why did it feel like the opposite? After saying these words, Xuěshān somewhat regretted his impetuousness. Jingwang gave a sarcastic smile and shook his head. Picking up the teacup in his hands and getting up, he ordered Wang Shi to send off the guests. Xuěshān thought carefully. Since Jingwang shook his head, did that mean he wasn't displeased with him? Wang Shi just happened to give a cough. "Young Master Chu, please don't misunderstand. His Highness didn't mean anything just now. What he was saying was, what does your state of being have anything to do with him?" Third Prince. Xuěshān. Sixth Prince. Mu Tianming had a headache. Jingwang didn't even want to deliver the gift that was already delivered in his residence. What should he do? Liu was being trapped in the teacup by Jingwang. Jingwang didn't seem to be interested with Xuěshān. Liu was secretly pleased about this. After all, in the novel, when Jingwang pursued Xuěshān, he had done too much for Xuěshān and he had gotten hurt countless times for Xuěshān. Now that he didn't took a liking to Xuěshān, did that meant that he had avoided a one-sided, torturous relationship? But would changing the plotline cause a butterfly effect? How would it affect Jingwang's future? Liu felt conflicted for a moment but eventually stopped thinking about it. His purpose for being here was to change Jingwang's temperament anyways. Wasn't this, in itself, changing a canonical aspect of the original novel? Liu finally returned to the inner courtyard, to Jingwang's bedroom. Jingwang placed him into the crystal fish tank. Liu saw the fish pillow had disappeared and assumed that Jingwang had discovered the decoy fish pillow. Liu smiled mischievously. Jingwang shouldn't have discovered that he was the one who placed the pillow there, right? Although that was pretty much impossible, Jingwang didn't even know his true identity and that this fish was a human, so why would he suddenly think that a fish could deliberately set up a decoy pillowfish? Liu felt very confident inside. He followed Jingwang around like a fawning lackey. Jingwang walked around in front of the fish tank. Liu also swam around after him. Suddenly, Jingwang stopped, pulled out something from his sleeve, and put it into the fish tank. Liu foolishly raised his head. He saw a black-shaped mass floating down above his head, landing by his side. Liu gave it a look. It was a fish that looked exactly the same as himself. Liu. This was the fish pillow? Liu didn't know what Jingwang meant by this. He secretly shot Jingwang a glance and then pretended not to understand anything. Considering the fish pillow to be a toy, he swam around in the water and nudged it a few times. He didn't dare to drag the fish pillow onto the white stone bed nor cover it with the grass blanket like he did before. Wouldn't that be equivalent to exposing himself? Jingwang only saw that the little carp was playing enthusiastically with the fake fish. Looking from afar, it gave the impression like he raised a pair of fish instead. Jingwang paused and suddenly felt a bit displeased with the fake fish. He decided that he would order Wang Shi to take out the fake fish in a bit and get rid of it. Jingwang still had things to do. He walked to the table and sat down. Liu thought of a new method of playing with the fish pillow. He carried the pillow around on his back, like he was carrying another fish. The pillow was very light, he didn't feel tired at all. After playing for a while, he discovered that Jingwang was busy working. The little carp and the pillow pressed against the side of the crystal fish tank together and secretly peeked at Jingwang. Jingwang was drawing again. Before in Jingtai Palace, Jingwang drew a picture for the little carp already. After he finished drawing, he even ordered Wang Shi to hang it up. When they returned to the Jing estate, the painting was also brought over and was placed on the wall opposite the fish tank. Liu thought complacently, was Jingwang drawing fish again? He needed to go make an outstanding pose again. Liu let go of the fish pillow and jumped into the teacups on the ground. He stuffed himself with food a bit too much just now when he changed into a human, so his movements weren't as nimble. After jumping a few more times than usual, he finally managed to leap onto Jingwang's table. Another flower-shaped teacup was placed on the table. It was where he stayed often. Jingwang seemed to know that this fish would come to watch him draw. He wasn't surprised at the little carp that suddenly appeared beside him. Liu held his breath. Jingwang was drawing something big this time and he wasn't finished yet. Although he couldn't see the complete picture yet, he could see hands, feet, and clothes. Jingwang was not drawing this fish, but a person. Liu's heart sank abruptly. Could it be Xuěshān? Even though Jingwang rejected the third prince outwardly, could he be still thinking about Xuěshān deep inside? That wasn't Jingwang's style at all. The Jingwang in the novel would definitely keep whoever he liked by his side. Since he straightforwardly refused already, it was impossible for him to be thinking about it again. The likelihood of this being Wang Shi was even higher than Xuěshān. Liu quietly waited for Jingwang to finish drawing the outline and add color. This drawing was somewhat complicated and took a total of an hour to finish. In the end, Jingwang picked up the drawing and gave it a slight shake. Liu finally saw the entirety of this drawing clearly. Jingwang was very good at drawing, his brush strokes were rather graceful. Liu saw that in the drawing there was a youth in green robes, sitting with both hands bracing on the windowsill, head looking back with a smile. Liu. Damn. Why did he feel like the mysterious person in the drawing looked familiar? Wasn't this his human form? This drawing was the scene where he almost got caught. Jingwang drawing fish, he could understand. But why would Jingwang draw someone he has never met before? The little carp couldn't figure it out. Jingwang placed the drawing to the side, took out a jade bell and gave it a shake. This was one of the methods Jingwang used to call his attendants. Wang Shi very quickly entered from outside. Jingwang solemnly handed over the drawing to Wang Shi. Wang Shi then leaned by his ear and exchanged a few words with him, asking for Jing Wang's confirmation. After Jing Wang indicated his confirmation, Wang Shi had a somewhat grave expression. Li Yu thought, was he telling Wang Shi to hang this up as well, placing his human portrait and fish portrait together? Although they were both him, he felt it was a bit strange. Wang Shi then said, "Please rest assured, Your Highness. This old servant will instruct the imperial guards to search for the person in this drawing." Li Yu. Jing Wang used his brush to draw a circle on the paper. Wang Shi nodded his head and said, "I will tell them to search along the pond. We will definitely find this person." Li Yu. No way. After selling fish charms that many times, Jing Wang was still intending to capture his human form? Whatever. Even if there was a portrait, they wouldn't find him. There was nothing at the pond. He was currently being raised in Jing Wang's fish tank, haha. After the banquet at the Jing estate, the third prince dejectedly brought Chu Yanyu and the rest of the troop back to his estate. Ultimately, Mu Tianming refused to accept that his meticulous plans would go to waste. After discussing for a while with his loyal confidant, he decided to still send Chu Yanyu and the woman to the Jing estate. In order to prevent Jing Wang from not accepting them, Mu Tianming dropped the pair off at the front door and then ran, escaping faster than a thief. Very quickly, the emperor received the news that the third prince gifted people to Jing Wang. The emperor thought it was somewhat funny. However, since the third prince was willing to express his goodwill towards Jing Wang, the emperor felt rather pleased. In the end, that banquet was something he set up for Jing Wang and the second prince. However, according to the intelligence reports, as soon as the second prince, Mu Tianzhao, went to Jing Wang's room, Jing Wang's fish immediately disappeared. The emperor thought perhaps the second prince was causing trouble for that fish again? At the moment, he was still alive. Yet the second prince couldn't even tolerate a fish. Would he dispose of Jing Wang in the future? This wasn't the first time that the emperor felt disappointed towards Mu Tianzhao. The emperor thought that perhaps he had leaked out his choice of crown prince to imperial consort Xu a bit too soon. The emperor wanted to give the second prince a warning. So, a few days after the banquet, he rewarded the third prince with a tea set. Although it wasn't anything significant, none of the other princes, including the second prince, received anything. Mu Tianming felt like attempting to win over Jing Wang was the right path. The emperor didn't bestow this tea set earlier or later, it was immediately after Mu Tianming sent people over to the Jing estate. This proved that the emperor really did want him to maintain a good relationship with Jing Wang. The sixth prince helped the third prince analyze the emperor's inner thoughts. The emperor only rewarded the third prince while the second prince didn't receive any. This also proved that the emperor was starting to become dissatisfied with the second prince. This is all thanks to your recommendation. Sending Chu Yanyu into the Jing estate was a really good move. Mu Tianming patted Mu Tianxiao's shoulder with a smile. Yanyu is smart. He definitely won't disappoint you, elder brother. The sixth prince smiled warmly, not even a hint of resentment over the fact that the person he loved entered the Jing estate. When Jing Wang learned of this later from Wang Shi, his expression was indifferent. Wang Shi Gonggong was very experienced with dealing with these kinds of people who were forcibly shoved in from outside. The emperor have sent many people to Jing Wang before as well. Men and women, thin and fat, every sort imaginable. However, because Jing Wang didn't like them, they were all placed together in a courtyard inside the Jing estate. Without permission, they couldn't walk around randomly. After an entire year, people who wanted to leave the Jing estate can leave. Those unwilling to leave can stay and work as servants. His Highness already rejected these people, including young Master Chu whom the third prince tried to gift him before. Since the third prince sent them over again and even tossed them behind without a care, just by looking at Jing Wang's face color, Wang Shi was able to tell that the Qingxi courtyard was about to gain 2 more people again. End chapter. the disabled tyrant's beloved pet fish. Transmigration. Chapter 23. Liu was completely unaware that Xuěshān, who was rejected on the spot by Jingwang, actually used such a roundabout way to enter the Jing estate. There was no spark of love between the protagonist Gong and Xiao. Liu wanted to ask the shitty system if this would cause any problems for Jingwang's future. Liu voluntarily called out, "System, what happens if the plot is changed?" Jingwang was uninterested in Xuěshān. Liu couldn't help but feel like something about this didn't seem right. The system that always pretended to be dead, for once heed his call. Host only has to complete his own cute pet missions, that's all. This. Was it saying that as long as he did his missions as a fish, even if the plot changed beyond recognition, it wouldn't matter at all? Liu was somewhat excited. Originally, he was worried that this shitty system would arrange some tasks for him to play matchmaker for Jingwang and Xuěshān. Yet now he learned that he didn't have to worry about the plot at all and that it was fine if Jingwang didn't engage in a masochistic romance with Xuěshān. Jingwang didn't like Xuěshān anyways. In return, Xuěshān also didn't like Jingwang. It's not like a fish could press these two people together and force them to like each other. For the first time, Liu felt like having a system by his side wasn't a bad thing. Even if the system always screwed him over, it was fine. As he celebrated, the system reminded him appropriately. Changing the plot will affect the events that follow. Unrelated plots will still occur as usual. Related plots will be changed. Please be prepared mentally, host. Because of this change, things won't be the same as what you know. It was rare for the shitty system to speak so much at once. Liu felt that these words sounded pretty reasonable. There were plenty of events in the original novel that unfolds around Jingwang and Xuěshān's masochistic romance. If Jingwang no longer liked Xuěshān, then those events would naturally be affected. This was the so-called butterfly effect. As a fish, Liu's heart was very generous. No problem. I will be well prepared. But would it affect Jingwang's ascent to the throne? What if the fluttering of this butterfly wing was too violent and blew away Jingwang's chance of becoming the emperor? Considering Jingwang's status as the son of the empress, as well as his dissonance with the other princes, if he couldn't become the emperor in the future, the rest of his days would definitely not end up well. Liu still really wished that Jingwang could become the emperor. System, no matter what the process is, ascending the throne is part of the tyrant's protagonist halo. Liu. With these words, Liu felt like his mind was set at ease. Following this, he planned to carefully study how to get to know the tyrant better. Liu, oh right. Since you answered me, you can also help me solve this puzzle. I think I already know Jingwang pretty well. So what exactly counts as a getting to know him better? System. Sure enough, this was a shitty system that always pretended to be dead as soon as the mission was mentioned. It immediately refused to say anything else. Nevertheless, Liu still politely said farewell to the system. After leaving the system, Liu's consciousness returned to his body. He found himself being taken out of the fish tank by Jingwang once again. His problem of falling asleep all of a sudden continued to occur every now and then. Whenever he fall asleep, Jingwang would always watch over him. Liu had become accustomed to it as much Jingwang had. Liu wagged his tail to express that he was lively and in good health. However, Jingwang still had his brows furrowed. It was most likely because when he lifted Liu up, he accidentally touched Liu's stomach and felt that it didn't seem right. Currently, he was still stroking the fish's stomach repeatedly. Liu. With Jingwang's action, Liu was reminded that his originally flat stomach was a little bloated. That's right. When he changed into a human, he stuffed himself full. After changing back to a fish, his stomach didn't deflate either. The system probably didn't notice this issue with his stomach earlier. This was only because he ate too much. It would be fine. Liu had an explanation in his heart, but he just couldn't express it. Jingwang stroked the fish's stomach with a strange expression for a bit. Thinking this fish was sick again, he summoned someone to come and take a look. The servants in charge of checking out the fish's illness before, now studied the little carp's distended stomach with focus. One servant wiped away the sweat on their forehead and said, "Your Highness, this fish probably ate too much." Another servant added, "It'll go away after it swims around for a while. It's not because the fish is pregnant." The servants at the scene wished they could poke out their own eyes. This fish was male. Why would His Highness ask that? Liu. The servant's words shocked Liu. What pregnancy? Was Jingwang suspecting he had little fishes? How can that be? Men can't get pregnant. Male fish also can't give birth to little fishes. Jingwang had been taking care of him for so long. Could it be that Jingwang mistook his gender? Liu blew up in anger like a pufferfish. After examining Liu's illness, Jingwang personally pushed him to swim around to help with his digestion. Liu clung to Jingwang's hand and did not even want to move. Fortunately, the food that he ate as a human didn't give him indigestion after he changed back into a fish. Liu very quickly returned to normal, and started moving around nimbly, vigorous like an animated dragon. The recovered Liu very quickly forgot about being angry and started to think about things that can help him know the tyrant better. He remembered an old saying back when he was in the modern era. When men want to reach a deeper understanding amongst another, they must soak in a bath together. Liu believed this could be a breakthrough. There's no harm in trying. He decided that he was going to take a bath with Jingwang. They already completed sharing a bed. It's only bathing together. That shouldn't be too hard, right? Jingwang was even willing to place him on the jade pillow. The other shouldn't be stingy about placing Liu in a bath bucket. Of course, the prerequisite here was that Liu won't directly touch the hot water, or else he would become a steamed fish. The fear of hot water was easily fixed. The washroom definitely had a ladle or some other tool to scoop hot water. Liu couldn't help but think, if he could turn into a little hot spring fish, then the task would be easy. Perhaps feeling rather speechless, the system didn't reply at all. On this day when Jingwang went to take a bath, Liu hopped around even more vigorously than before. Wang Shi was holding Liu's human portrait outside with a vicious expression, trying to figure out how to catch this person. When he turned around and saw the little carp, his face instantly blossomed like a flower. "Little thing, perhaps you want to go take a bath with His Highness." Liu hopped onto the edge of the fish tank. In order to complete this know him better task, he was willing to forego everything. Once again turning into a shameless little thing, he started acting cute and blew bubbles at Wang Shi. Wang Shi spoke with Jingwang. Jingwang also felt it was strange. After thinking for a moment, he permitted it and ordered people to make the arrangements accordingly. Wang Shi grabbed a big wooden ladle, scooped the little carp and some water out of the fish tank and carried it to the washroom. Over there, Jingwang also made arrangements. There were plenty of charcoal basins placed in the washroom, making the place feel nice and warm. A wash bucket about the height of a person was placed behind a screen at the center of the room. Jingwang sat inside the water while wearing a single layer of clothing. He indicated for Wang Shi to place the wooden ladle into the water. The wooden ladle carried the little carp as it floated inside the wash bucket. This view made it look like Jingwang was bathing inside the wash bucket while the fish was bathing to the side in the wooden ladle as well. Liu happily splashed around inside the ladle and wanted to swim towards Jingwang. However, the wooden ladle was much lighter than the teacup that he was used to. Because it was already in the water and was also filled with water, it was hard to control his strength. Liu wasn't able to move the ladle forward but instead caused it to spin around in a circle. After a few spins, even Liu himself got a little dizzy. Smiling, Jingwang raised his hand to stop the relentlessly spinning wooden ladle. After Liu became more clear-headed, he immediately saw Jingwang's handsome face. Under the stream of trickling water, he seemed even more eye-catching. Liu even saw a drop of water rolling down the side of the other's face, slowly sliding down his Adam's apple. With a swallowing movement, the drop of water fell off his Adam's apple. Liu. Clearly he didn't bite randomly this time, yet he had the same feeling of being cooked on fire like that time. It's definitely because they were washing in hot water. Liu buried his head into the water inside the wooden ladle, feeling somewhat embarrassed. Hurry up and calm down. He was a fish willing to do anything for the sake of completing his tasks. He couldn't be seduced by his master's beauty. Liu raised his head and wanted to swim closer. This time, the wooden ladle didn't spin around in the same place. Because he used too much strength, he was caught off guard and started to lean to one side. In a flash, he tilted over. This was one of those if you don't seek death, then you won't die moment. The hot water instantly poured into the wooden ladle. Liu thought tragically that aside from turning into fish bones and fish ashes, he could also die by becoming a steamed fish. This water. The water wasn't hot. Liu carefully swam out of the tilted wooden ladle and stayed in the bath water with Jingwang. It didn't take long for him to realize that because he wanted to play in the bathing bucket, Jingwang changed the bath water from hot to cold. Sob, sob, sob. Master, how can you be so good to this fish? Liu wagged his tail for a bit and wanted to swim closer to his master. It was seldom that a man and fish could get so close without restraint. Mouth turning upwards into a smile, Jingwang cupped a handful of water and poured it over Liu's head, as if getting revenge on the fish for splashing him countless times before. Big Mina. How dare you tease this fish? Liu shook off the water droplets from his head. Jingwang was still smirking smugly and looking very pleased with himself. Liu has never seen this kind of expression on the other man's face before. Feeling fevered, he swam over with a whoosh, opened his mouth and started to bite randomly. The man and fish both started splashing around in the water. Wang Shi was originally somewhat worried about Jingwang soaking in cold water, wondering if his body would be able to endure it. However, the water had been placed in a charcoal-warmed room for quite a while. The chill should have dissipated. Not to mention that in the winter, Jingwang would sometimes practice martial arts in cold water. So, it shouldn't be an issue. Just in case, Wang Shi still boiled some ginger soup to dispel the cold and got it prepared ahead of time for Jingwang. He felt that after the little thing the master fish arrived, His Highness had become much more lively. Hearing the noises coming from inside, Wang Shi sincerely felt happy for Jingwang. After taking the bath, Liu was carried back out by Jingwang in the wooden ladle. Liu giggled foolishly in happiness. His task was completed and updated while he and Jingwang were having a water fight. Sure enough, if men wanted to get to know each other better, they had share a bath together. This proved to be true. Waiting until the dead of the night, Liu went to see his reward. When this task was announced, his mood wasn't great at the time, so he didn't pay specific attention to the reward. Nevertheless, the shitty system has even given a fish pillow as a reward before. Liu felt like it's best not to have too much expectation. When he received the reward this time, it was very much like when he received the portable storage space. A beam of light gathered under his fish fin and then disappeared. Liu lowered his head immediately to take a look. Next to the jade fish scale that represented the portable storage space was another almost similar looking fish scale. Liu, what was this for? The two scales were so similar and they were placed next to each other. What if he pressed the wrong one in the future? Liu attempted to poke at the new scale, but he didn't feel anything special. The next second, he felt that this entire fish became bigger. Liu looked in surprise towards his fin. His fin had changed into a human hand. System. What's going on? Liu was extremely delighted. He happily touched his own face. His cheeks were smooth, No fish scales at all. Although he didn't know the reason, he had turned into a human. Was this what the system meant when it said that he can return back to being human if he completed the main mission? Had he recovered completely now? Regret to inform you, host. This is just a skill. The system belatedly began to explain. Liu. Skill. System, the main mission will become more and more complicated. It will be very hard to advance without turning into a human. The reward this time gave you that skill. It's a method that you can use to maintain human form. You can transform once a day for the duration of 1 hour. Liu. What kind of skill is this? Its effect was even shorter than the shape-shifting pill. However, being able to transform once a day. Wait, didn't you say that there was only one shape-shifting pill? The system screwed fish over again. If he knew ahead of time that the reward for this task would allow him to shape-shift for an hour every day, would he have been so calculating and careful when using the shape-shifting pill? System, there is indeed only one shape-shifting pill reward that allows you to turn back into a human for 2 hours. This reward is considered a skill. If host doesn't want it, you can always give it up. Liu hastily said, who said I want to give it up? I earned this with all of my hard work. Liu protected the fish scale area firmly. He didn't have any fish scales in his human form. The jade-colored scales transformed into 2 scale-like imprints under his arm. System, then please use the skill appropriately, host. The next step is the last step of the Tyrant's guppy pet fish mission. When you finish it, all of the host's attributes will double. The capacity of your portable storage space will go up to level 2 as well. You will be able to start the branch mission Become a Koi. Was he finally about to complete a main mission? The rewards sounded generous just listening to them. After that, he can even start the long-awaited Become a Koi task. However, what was this last step? Inside the world of the system, the words for the Tyrant's guppy petfish mission responded by letting out a golden light. Liu carefully examined the last step of this mission. The last step, intimate contact with the Tyrant. There were no specific instructions. Liu suddenly had a bad feeling. Wait, is this intimate contact the kind of intimate contact I'm thinking about? System, please figure it out yourself, host. Liu. Damn. Was the system screwing this fish again at a crucial moment? Liu wandered around inside the system for a while. The time limit for his human form quickly reached its end. Liu turned back into his fish form. The transformation this time was because of a skill, not medicine. So Liu didn't feel out of sorts at all. After changing back, the jade fish scale momentarily lost its luster, indicating that he could no longer use it for that day. With this ability, Liu could change back into a human every once in a while. However, he still needed to use it cautiously. Jingwang was currently searching for him everywhere. Liu couldn't just appear randomly, without a care. Talking to himself, Liu exited the system. Fortunately, he temporarily changed into a human inside the system just now. In reality, he didn't actually change. Perhaps the system helped him here. Or else the sight of a big live person lying unconscious inside a fish tank would have definitely been horrifying. The Tyrant's guppy petfish mission had already advanced into the last step. He only needed one more step to complete one of the main missions. The distance from really changing back into a human was getting closer and closer. In order to finish the mission, Liu had to do his best to achieve this intimate contact. Oh, and the intimate contact that he was thinking about was mouth to mouth. Using the teacups placed on the floor, Liu quickly jumped from the fish tank onto the bed. It was already the middle of the night. Jingwang was asleep. Liu examined the shape of others' elegant lips. He recalled when he accidentally bit them in the past and how he was even going to apologize by giving his fish food. But now, he was about to voluntarily do such an embarrassing thing. No need to think too much. This was only a mission. Liu admonished himself relentlessly. Also, he and Jingwang could be considered good friends now that they had shared a bath together. He should strike while the iron was hot and finish this last step, or else it might feel even more embarrassing in the future. The little carp convinced himself and jumped onto the jade pillow. Closing his eyes, he slowly moved his fish mouth forward. However, this kind of thing, which could be easily done accidentally, became much more difficult to do when being done deliberately. Liu felt like he leaned in far enough. However, he still didn't manage to touch that softness in his memories. Opening his eyes, he discovered that Jingwang had turned over. Liu. I'll need to jump again. Liu jumped over to the other side and did his best to extend his fish mouth some more. He still didn't touch it. Liu opened his eyes again. Jingwang just happened to open his eyes at that same time. With a guilty conscience, Liu immediately started to wag his tail frantically, not considering time, place, or situation, and tried to sell fish charms again. As a result, the jade pillow got smacked several times that it made a lot of noise. Liu, sob sob sob, what should I do? Most probably, Jingwang was woken up by the fish jumping around. When he woke up, he immediately saw this fish laying on his pillow, wagging its tail wildly. Jingwang was still half asleep. In a daze, he pulled over the teacup closest to him and placed the fish inside the teacup. Then, after lightly patting the fish on the head, he fell back into a deep sleep. Liu. Who can tell him what patting fish head meant? Liu didn't dare to extend his mouth randomly anymore. He was afraid of waking up the fast asleep person in front of him again. Forget it. I'll do it next time. I'm not in a hurry anyways. Liu laid down on the side closer to Jingwang and also fell asleep. An unexpected guest showed up at the Jing estate. Because of Jingwang's cold personality, he basically would not take the initiative to invite anyone. Normally, there were only two types of people who came to the Jing estate. One, were people from the imperial palace who came to deliver an imperial edict. The other was the heir of the Duke of Chang'an estate, Ye Qinghuan. Ye Qinghuan was a sociable person and was the complete opposite of Jingwang, who preferred a solitary existence. Yet, he was completely unafraid of Jingwang's cold face and often came over to play. Every time the Chang'an palace heir arrived, Jingwang's face would turn black like the bottom of a pot. Not only was Ye Qinghuan not afraid Jingwang, he was always happy to see him because they were cousins. Jingwang could tell other people to get lost but could not do the same with this cousin of his. At most, all he could do was order the imperial guards to grab Ye Qinghuan by the collar and throw him out physically. During the banquet at Jing estate last time, Ye Qinghuan didn't appear because he was on official business. He really regretted not being able to arrive in person to join this exciting event. So, when he had leisure time a few days later, he immediately dropped by for a visit. He heard Jingwang was raising a pet and that it was even a fish. Ye Qinghuan specifically came to show off his own pet. The heir of Chang'an Palace was raising a dog. He felt like from now on, at least in the subject of pet, he and Jingwang had a few more things to talk about. Leading his dog, Ye Shizi followed Wang Shi to see Jingwang. Note, Shizi, to indicate that he was the heir of his family. Seeing his own cousin, Ye Qinghuan didn't even need Wang Shi's assistance. He found a chair himself and sat down in it animatedly. As soon as he opened his mouth, he asked about the fish. Tianqi, did you really start raising a fish? Jingwang glanced briefly at the big and tall furry dog behind Ye Qinghuan. The dog wore a heavy pure gold collar around its neck. Unprecedentedly, for the first time, Jingwang didn't throw his cousin outside immediately. Instead, he instructed Wang Shi to bring the fish tank over. After the crystal tank that was gifted by the emperor arrived in the Jing estate, it hasn't been moved because this fish tank was not only big but also heavy. Moving it wasn't convenient. However, because the heir of Chang'an Palace came, Jingwang ended up wanting to move the fish tank. Wang Shi thought in fond exasperation and humor that since Ye attempted to show off in front of Jingwang first, of course His Highness had to flaunt in return. Actually, it was fine to let Ye go inside the room to see the fish, but Jingwang didn't like Ye dog too much. Moreover, would seeing the fish inside the room be as clear as seeing it outside? Ye Huan didn't wait for too long. What quickly greeted him was a crystal fish tank about half a person's height. Ye Huan opened his mouth wide and forgot to close it. It wasn't because Ye never saw crystals before, but rather because of all the precious gems placed inside the fish tank practically blinded Ye Huan's eyes. Yet clearly, what was being raised inside the fish tank was only an extremely ordinary, dark-colored little carp. Did you throw your entire money pouch into the fish tank as well? Ye Huan mumbled. Ye didn't particularly care about how valuable and precious the pet was. Jingwang, who could pamper a fish to this extent, was much more extraordinary than the fish itself. Originally, he purposely showed off the gold collar on his dog's neck, but in comparison to Jingwang's fish tank, it really didn't count as anything. Ultimately, the gold collar had a price. Meanwhile, Jingwang's fish tank, as well as the things inside it, probably couldn't be bought even if one wanted to. Jingwang used an "are you stupid" expression to stab Ye Huan with his gaze. Ye Huan halted. He suddenly recalled that Jingwang was actually pretty wealthy. He usually hid it deeply. So why was he showing off today? Ye Huan didn't want to lose face. With a snap of his fingers, the large black dog he raised rushed over with tail wagging and jumped onto his legs. Ye Huan immediately regained some confidence. He hugged his beloved dog. The black dog gave doggy kiss on Ye Huan's face. Ye Huan gave Jingwang a smug smile. Jingwang understood that Ye was taunting him right now, but he never snapped his fingers at the fish before and has never done any training with the fish. Jingwang felt that Ye Huan was being childish and didn't expect anything. In the fish tank, Li Yu also noticed Ye and his dog by now. He understood what was going on with one glance. So, the pets were having a competition? Li Yu excitedly waved his tail unceasingly and rushed forward to the wall of the crystal tank. It's time to make his master proud. What's so great about a dog? He could beat 10 of them if he needed to. Jingwang saw his fish almost looking eager to give it a try. Then, let's just give it a try. Jingwang hesitantly held out his hand, palm facing upwards. Li Yu knew that Ye Huan was trustworthy. Therefore, he didn't hide anything. With a swing of his tail, he jumped out of the fish tank and landed precisely at the center of Jingwang's palm. Jingwang held the fish that made him proud and pinched the fish's back. Li Yu wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to have an intimate contact, but Jingwang moved too quickly and placed the fish into the petal-shaped teacup that Wang Shi prepared beforehand. Li Yu who failed to steal a kiss. Li Yu splashed around unhappily inside the teacup. Sob sob sob, let me out. I needed to do this task. While Jingwang was playing with the fish, Ye Huan had a face full of incredulousness. The unimpressive-looking fish actually jumped out. Not only that, it can even leap onto Jingwang's hand with extreme precision. If there was no food for reward, his beloved dog normally wouldn't even run over to lick his hand. Yet Jingwang didn't even have to feed the fish anything. He lost. He was unceremoniously defeated. Ye Huan despaired. Wait, Ye Huan suddenly thought of something. He rubbed his face and said, Tianqi, what's your fish called? Jingwang. My dog is called Xiangfeng. Ye Huan's mouth split into a smile. He felt like he made a comeback. He bet that the taciturn Jingwang would not thought about giving a name to his pet. Even if Xiangfeng was not as smart as the little carp, he won against Jingwang in terms of coming up with a pet name. Jingwang. Li Yu didn't really understand and even wanted to laugh. He didn't even have time to snicker when his gaze met Jingwang's. Liu immediately had a bad feeling. Xuěshān even pulled out the dog's name to show off. Liu suddenly remembered the little thing that Wang Shi often called him. Could it be that Jingwang wanted to? No. Little thing was much more shameful than Xiangfeng. Liu hastily shook his head and waved his tail, expressing his dislike. Over on Jingwang's side, he indeed recalled that he has yet to give the fish a name. Actually, there were already many ways to call the fish. Normally, the servants called the fish His Highness's fish or Master Fish. Wang Shi occasionally also called the fish Master Fish, but mostly he called the fish Little Thing. Then why not make it official and call it Little Thing? But this was the name that Wang Shi created. Jingwang felt somewhat awkward. He's been calling this fish internally this entire time. Now was really the time to give this fish a name. Pressing his lips together, Jingwang sent someone to get a brush and ink. Thinking for a moment, he lifted the brush and wrote down the word little. Turning his head, he discovered that the fish was staring at him with a burning hot gaze. With a smile, Jingwang finished it off with a fish, and then threw the paper at Xuěshān. Why are you giving me this? Xuěshān picked up the paper, unable to respond momentarily. Wang Shi, who was blending himself in the background, immediately jumped out to explain righteously, "My lord, His Highness wants you to remember that the master fish's name is Xiao, little, you, fish, dot." Xuěshān. What kind of extremely ordinary, old-style, boring name was this? Xiao Yu. Liu's eyes lit up. This name was given very well. It was the same as his childhood nickname in the modern world. Liu blew several bubbles in succession, expressing his love towards the new name. Xuěshān's arrival refreshed Liu's knowledge of the Xuěshān from the original novel. The Xuěshān in the novel was Jingwang's blood-related cousin. He was also one of the small number of upstanding and magnanimous sons of nobility. Other than a habit of speaking without thinking, he didn't have any other problems. The real Xuěshān even raised a dog. Liu was quite surprised by this fact. This probably counted as an insignificant detail in the original novel, just like the imperial consort's cat. Yet this insignificant detail almost caused this fish's death. Especially when Xuěshān ordered people to untie Xiangfeng's leash. Xiangfeng immediately scrambled into a wild sprint, kicking up a layer of dust. Liu heard the commotion from far away. The dog that has never seen fish before, got extremely excited and came rushing over to smell him. When Liu was human, he wasn't afraid of cats or dogs at all. But after changing into a fish, he started to become afraid. Although dogs shouldn't like to eat fish, it didn't stop them from loving to pick things up with their mouth. Xiangfeng's dense white teeth and canines were even bigger than Piao Shui's teeth. Whenever this dog found anything interesting, it always became extremely stubborn. It absolutely must use its nose to smell it and poke it a few times before stopping. The dog was going to poke this fish. Liu screamed, "Help!" In extreme panic, the little carp forgot that he was in the teacup. Flailing wildly and trying to escape, he splashed water all over the place. Before Xiangfeng could pounce over, Jingwang moved to block in front of the teacup. Like what happened to Piao Shui before, Xiangfeng also slammed into a human wall. Xiangfeng was only an extremely enthusiastic and friendly dog. After slamming into Jingwang, it didn't get angry at all. This was the first time it was brought into the Jing estate. It was also similarly curious towards Jingwang, who it had never met before. Xiangfeng was not afraid of Jingwang, but Xuěshān knew how it was when Jingwang got mad. Xuěshān was afraid his beloved dog would get beaten up by Jingwang and hastily said, "Tianqi, don't hit it. If you want to hit a dog, you have to ask its master first. My Xiangfeng is naturally friendly, it doesn't bite people. Even if it didn't bite people, that didn't guarantee that it wouldn't bite fish as well." Xuěshān himself wasn't too sure about that. Very good. Jingwang glanced towards Ye Qinghuan and chuckled coldly. Jingwang didn't punish Xiongfeng. He immediately turned and ordered Wang Shi to get people to grab Ye Qinghuan and his dog and throw them both out of the Jing estate. Li Yu was thoroughly scared by Xiongfeng. He originally planned to secretly wait until Jingwang was off guard and then steal a kiss, but that chance flew away again. However, this visit from the heir of Chang'an Palace made him remember the plotline involving Ye Shizi. The system told him that some plotline would remain while others were bound to change. He wondered what would happen to this plot. In the original novel, the third prince won over Jingwang due to Chu Yanyu. Duke Chang'an estate was the late empress' birth family and Jingwang's maternal family. Duke Chang'an didn't need to support any of the other princes, but because of Jingwang's support, they had indirectly helped the third prince. After Mu Tianzhao's faction found out that Mu Tianming had gained the support of the Chang'an Palace, they harbored resentment towards the noble family. Coincidentally, the nation of Jinju sent their princess over for a political marriage alliance. The emperor originally planned to have the princess and Ye Shizi marry. The second prince was afraid that the third prince would then gain the support of Jinju nation as well. Therefore, he created a scheme to frame Ye Qinghuan, making Ye Qinghuan accidentally kill this princess. The marriage alliance would fail and the princess will be killed. Mu Tianzhao didn't care if the nation of Jinju would end up as an enemy of the realm. In accordance to his plans, the emperor would definitely punish the heir of Chang'an Palace for the sake of diplomatic relationships between the two countries. Duke Chang'an would definitely plead for mercy. However, the second prince would have the government officials under his faction to relentlessly reprimand Chang'an Palace in front of the emperor and insist that Ye Qinghuan and the Chang'an Palace had caused the late Empress Yao Hui to lost face. At the very least, the emperor would have to strip their titles. The Chang'an Palace would also receive punishment by implication. The third prince's faction in the court was no match to the second prince's faction. Moreover, based on the third prince's personality, if the plea for mercy wasn't successful, he would put his own safety first and abandon others. At this point, Mu Tianzhao would try to win over Chang'an Palace estate again. If he was successful, Chang'an Palace would definitely become unswervingly loyal to him. If it was unsuccessful, at least the third prince would lose a powerful ally. The second prince plotted a dirty scheme to defame Ye Qinghuan. The sixth prince coincidentally learned of this plot early. However, the sixth prince didn't warn the Chang'an Palace and instead, waited for the tragedy to occur. In the end, the person who died wasn't the princess from Jinju who came over for political alliance but rather the emperor's most beloved youngest daughter. The emperor flew into a fit of rage. Ye Shizi was executed. Chang'an Palace estate had their nobility status stripped away and was exiled. Jingwang suffered the emperor's anger by implication and was confined inside Jing estate. The sixth prince volunteered to help the emperor relieve his worries and married the Jinju princess. Yet in the end, the third prince still thought this was all a plot by the second prince and that the sixth prince was helping him win over support from Jinju. From this moment onward, he trusted the sixth prince even more. Meanwhile, in actuality, after this event, the sixth prince started to secretly rope in the people from the third prince's faction. All of this was only the sixth prince beating everyone at their own games. On one hand, it increased the hostility between the second and third prince. On the other hand, it eliminated the power of the Chang'an Palace. The second prince and the third prince were sinister, but the sixth prince was even more malicious. The loyalty of the Chang'an Palace was actually something that the sixth prince obtained for the third prince through Chu Yanyu from Jingwang. After learning that Chang'an Palace was going to reluctantly support the third prince, the sixth prince knew that he could no longer use it through the third prince. Since he had already gained the third prince's full trust, there was no harm in eliminating this arm that he personally gifted the third prince. At the same time, he could make the second and third princes fall out completely and thereby giving himself an opportunity to fight for the throne. The battle between the princes originally shouldn't have affected the princess. Yet the sixth prince was even willing to sacrifice his own sister. The sixth prince knew very well that if the only one who died was the foreign diplomatic princess, the emperor would allow the Chang'an palace some leeway in the end. But if someone from the royal bloodline died, the emperor wouldn't hold back without consideration to the late Empress Xiaohui. It can be seen through this that the sixth prince's heart was actually the blackest. This person hid behind the third prince the entire time. If it weren't for this, after the second prince and third prince both fell, the sixth prince wouldn't have been able to contest the throne against Jingwang and even almost win it. In order to obtain power, countless people died. The most innocent in the original novel was probably the Chang'an Palace and Ye Shizi. But now, a change had occurred. Jingwang didn't like Xu Yanyu at all. With this one less connection, it will be even harder for the third prince to win over Chang'an Palace. Would the second prince still attempt to frame Ye Shizi? If the second prince didn't attempt this, perhaps the sixth prince also wouldn't come up with his evil scheme. Li Yu didn't have many interactions with Ye Shizi. Although this person needed a beating for being a blabbermouth, he was one of Jingwang's very few friends, as well as family. He unfortunately died in the struggle for power, but he was innocent. Later in the novel, the sixth prince failed to take the throne. Despite Xu Yanyu's plea for mercy, Jingwang still executed the sixth prince in revenge for Ye Qinghuan's entire family. It was clear how upset Jingwang felt in his heart about this. Li Yu thought, if Ye Shizi's plotline still remained, then he should help the other man avoid it to the best of his abilities. But he was only a fish in this world. How was he supposed to help? Ye Shizi only came to Jing estate a bit more than normal people, but it still didn't count as frequent. At most, Li Yu could only turn into a human for an hour at a time per day. He most likely won't be able to encounter Ye Shizi. And even if they did meet, 1 hour was not enough to make Ye Shizi believe him. The person Li Yu had the most contact with was still Jingwang. He could only borrow Jingwang's aid. He was just thinking about how to act when the shitty system jumped out suddenly and said, "Host, the impenetrable fortress side quest has reached its requirements. Do you wish to start it?" Li Yu, what side quest? I didn't do anything. Why would it suddenly activate? System, it's because host felt the desire to help and rescue a cannon fodder character from the novel without expecting any compensation. Li Yu. Li Yu laughed. So, the Duke of Chang'an's heir was also a ahem. A cannon fodder. However, in accordance to Ye Shizi's circumstances, he was probably the most eye-catching cannon fodder out of them all. It would be best if the side quest could be completed and end up with him rescuing this guy. If it were anything like the Night Luminescent Pearl side quest, then it would be quite a headache. Li Yu was still worrying over the intimate contact task, so he asked cautiously. Just what kind of mission is this? What's the reward? Let me hear the details. The system guided Li Yu to look at the impenetrable fortress side quest. The description of this mission was very detailed. As long as he protected the person he wanted to save within a certain period of time and avoided their death, it would be considered a success. In line with its objective, the impenetrable fortress side quest also had a very grand description. In order to protect the target well, the target must be like an impenetrable fortress. Li Yu, and the reward. Once the mission is complete, host can select from the following rewards. The system started to recite mechanically. Li Yu didn't really want to hear it. All right. The specifics can wait to be discussed after I finish the mission. The shitty system's rewards were becoming more and more weird. Even without the side quest, he would have done his best to help Ye Shizi. Whatever the reward was, it wasn't really that important. Li Yu's plan involved writing a letter which clearly explained the details of the second prince's ploy for Ye Shizi and then passing it along to Ye Shizi. No matter if Ye Qinghuan believed it or not, at least this letter would alert the Chang'an palace. As long as they became vigilant, the second prince wouldn't be able to secretly stab them so easily. Li Yu already had the ability to turn into a human, so he didn't need to worry about how a fish could hold a brush to write. He could just change into a human. However, it wasn't until he was about to write the letter that he realized that the ancient characters they were using in this time period were different from the traditional characters that he knew. With a lot of guessing, Li Yu could somewhat read the characters of this time period, but if he had to use it to write a letter, he couldn't do it. Li Yu, who suddenly felt like he became illiterate. He couldn't allow this to stump him though. Since he can read most of the characters, he only needed to find a very wordy book and copy the characters from that. Jingwang didn't have many books in his bedroom, but he had a huge study that Li Yu has never gone to. When it was time for Jingwang to head to the study, Li Yu voluntarily jumped into Jingwang's hand and grabbed Jingwang's fingers, refusing to let go. "I really don't know what to do with you." Jingwang gave the fish an indulgent and fond glance. Ever since the fish had received its name, it became even more audacious. Despite complaining, Jingwang didn't hesitate to grab the flower-shaped teacup that the little carp often stayed on. When he reached the study, Jingwang placed the fish to the side of the desk as usual and grabbed the book he needed to read. When Jingwang read inside his bedroom before, the little carp was always very quiet. This time, the usual tacit agreement was broken. The fish kept extending its head with all of its might towards the book that he was reading. As it kept extending its head, it wagged its tail non-stop. "Li Yu, the angle is too slanted. I can't see." Did Xiao Yu wanted to play again? Jingwang was rather indulgent with this fish. With a smile, he pulled the teacup closer. After Wang Shi learned that Jingwang was bringing the fish into the study, he already placed a heavy layer of water-absorbent cover on the table. Li Yu was finally able to see the book. As he looked, he quickly memorized the words that he needed to write in the letter, remembering as much as he could. He planned to wait until there was no one and then attempt to write the letter himself. As Jingwang read the book, he saw the little carp's head nodding repeatedly in a rather noticeable pattern. Jingwang. For a moment, Jingwang had a perception that this fish could read. Were his eyes playing tricks on him? Jingwang put the book down and rubbed his brows. He discovered that as soon as he placed the book down, the little carp that was laying on top of the teacup also slowly tilted forward and downwards as well. Then with a stumble, it slid onto the pages of the book. Jingwang. So it was actually sleeping. Li Yu, how was I asleep? End chapter.